kids, welcome back to your ESL 3B class number 30. So today, last time we started with new vocabulary. So today we're going to have a little test. So we're gonna have your test. We only have 8 words. I hope you get ready for this. So take out your test book or anyway and write them down. So here we go. Number one is toy store. Toy store. Toy store. It's a place where you can buy toys. Okay? Not too hard. Okay. Next one. Number 2. Supermarket. 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 Supermarket, it's one word, okay? It's only one word. It's a place where you can buy things for your house, things for eating or cleaning. And number 3, it's pet store. Pet store. Pet store. So this is 2 words, pet and store. That's a place where you can buy food for your pets or you can buy new pets. Next one, number 4, grocery store. 2 words, grocery store. Grocery store. That's number 4. Grocery store. It's a small place where you can also buy things for eating. Usually it's just things for eat or for your things that you use every day. Then next one, number 5, drugstore. Drugstore. Drugstore, it's only one word. So drug and store. Drug is the name of the pills that you take or medicine that you take. They are also called drugs. So drugstore, place where you can buy medicine. Number 6, it's a department store. Department store. 2 words, department store. At a department store, you can buy clothes or you can buy things for your house. Maybe you want to buy a new cell phone, new computer, anything. Or you can also buy food, right? Like the 101, you can buy anything there. Then number 7, clothing store. Clothing store. Clothing store. So that's 2 words, clothing and store. Clothing just means clothes. It just means things that you can wear, like shirts, shoes, sandals, short t-shirts, anything. Clothing store is a place where you can buy those. And last one, bookstore. Bookstore. It's only one word, bookstore. What can you buy at the bookstore? Ta-da. You can buy books, right? It's super easy. So, if you want, you can listen again and try again until you get it right. Or you can just take a look at the answers. But that's not a good idea. You should try more. So the first one was toy store. And yeah, we're gonna do capitals. Why not? So toy store, 2 words, toy and store. You know how to write toy. Number 2, supermarket. Super, like Superman, and then market. So it's like a very big market or like a better market. Number 3, 2 words, pet, store. Always store something. Number 4, grocery. Grocery store. This is 2 words, okay? So store. You know how to write store. It's okay. Number 5, drugstore. Drug. So drugstore. So why is it called drugstore and not medicine store? Because you know drugs are also things like smokes, like cigarettes and alcohol, but drug, it's a word that means something that can change your body when you take it. So drugs can be good, like the one you buy at the drugstore, those are good. And drug can also be bad, like alcohol or cigarettes. Okay. But drugstore, it's only for good things and for medicine. And next one is a department store. Department store. So a department store, I think it's called department store because it's a place where you can have everything else, like a big department. So you can have all the other stores inside the department store. Okay. Number 7, where is it? Oh, clothing store. Clothing, and then store. You know how to write store, you can check it. Clothing, like it comes from the word clothes, so things that you can wear. And last one is a bookstore. Bookstore. One word. This is all one word. So bookstore, it's a place where you can buy books. If you got it right, you are very good. And if you didn't get it right, you can try until you get it. But this is the right answers. Now, take out your language book and get ready for talking about money. So today we're going to keep talking about money. Today we're going to talk about the story of money. So what's the story of money? When do you think money happened? Like, who invented money? Do you think teacher Ellie invented money? No, right? Do you think teacher Mary invented money? No. So who invented money? And why they invented money? I mean, who? Maybe crazy people, or maybe not. So take a look at page 72, and on page 72 you're going to see something like this. It has a mini circle like that. It keeps on going, and then here it has like a picture of some things, and here it has another like chart and cell phone over here. Okay, so but this thing in the middle, it has a number, and then the number is getting shorter until it reaches 0, and then it goes up again. So it goes 0, 1,000, and blah 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 blah. So this thing is called a timeline. Okay. So a timeline is a thing that you use to show time. So for example, this is 800 BCE. So BCE. And then on the other side, you have just 1000. No BCE here. So what does BCE means? It means before the current era. So before the current era. So era just means like times. So this is before. Current means right now. So before now, before our times. So why? Because history is very long, and something happened around this year, around year 0. If you're a Christian, maybe you know, like Jesus was born, and then everybody else started to count. This is year 0, and everything else is going to be going up, and everything else this way is going to be going up also the other way. So before this guy was born, it's called BCE. And after he's born, it's called CE. So this means current era, and this means before the current era. that's just a little bit of time. And now that you know what is this line for, let's read. Let's go read page 72. So follow after me. Number 1. On 9,000 BCE, not 900. So that is the first one. 9,000 BCE. 1, 2, 3. The story of money. 9,000 BCE. For thousands of years, people bartered things. Bartering was a system of trading. People, like the ancient Egyptians, traded things they had for something they needed. They exchanged things like animals, food, clothes, and tools. 1100 BCE. In China, some people used small pieces of metal shaped like knives or spades to buy things. Eventually, the metal objects became circular in shape. So, they were trying to use something on the first one, on the 9,000 BCE. It said people used to barter. Barter means I give you this marker, and then you give me an apple. Okay, so we are exchanging, we can change things. So that's called barter. So people used to do that a lot. So I give you food and you maybe give me a house, okay? Something like that. And there was no money before, so they were only changing things. Then in China, some people use small pieces of metal shaped like knives or spades, as you can see here on number 2. So those look like knives, and they would use those to buy things. So I give you this thing and then you give me food. So like money, but instead of using paper, they were using these knife things. Okay, next one. 900 BCE. Metal money was a good idea, but there was a problem. The more money you had, the heavier it was. So Chinese merchants often left their pieces of metal in a safe place and took paper certificates for the same amount. They had fewer problems with this paper money, but it sometimes flew away on a windy day, so it was known as flying money. So basically, they said, this heavy is it's crazy, I cannot take it. Imagine you go to buy things to supermarket and you take all the knives in your house. Crazy. That's not useful. So these people were saying, okay, maybe we can use paper, and this paper will tell you I have so many knives in my house. So I can use this for buying things. But it was also paper when you have right now your money. Like what happens if it goes like into the water or into the rain or it just flies away? So they were saying it was known as flying money because it goes away. Okay, next one. 600 BCE. King Alyattes of Lydia, now in Turkey, started a system of gold and silver coins. They were probably the world's first real coins because the government made them. Gold was a popular metal for coins, but it was hard to find because almost all of it was deep in the center of the earth. So somebody very smart said, gold is very hard to find. So maybe we can use gold to change things, okay? And if you look under the picture, this is a chart. This is a chart, and chart shows you percentages. So for example, this one is showing that 1% of the gold, it's on the surface, means outside, and 99% is inside the earth. So it's very hard to take it. Okay, next one, then you have 0, and then you have 1,000. So in year 1,000, most people were poor and owed money, but they didn't read or write, and they needed a way to show how much money they owed. So in some countries they use tally sticks to cut marks on the sticks. The more marks meant more money. So yeah, because it was hard to keep a track of how much money do you owe before internet and before everything, right? So they were just making sticks, tally sticks, and they would write on them. That's very clever. And then if you take a look at the picture, now this picture, so that's a picture, it's the actual tally sticks that they were using. And let's take a look at the next one, 1400. So in the 1400, in the Americas, the Aztecs and Mayans used cacao. Oh, they use cacao beans to buy and sell things. So cacao, it's the plant where cocoa beans come from. So for example, your cocoa milk and cocoa powder and cocoa anything, it comes from a plant called cacao. So that plant is only found in South America. So the people who lived before in America were called Aztecs and Mayans, and they used the cacao beans to buy and sell things because everybody wants to have cocoa, right? So it was very important for trading. The Incas had a different system. They returned for work. The rulers gave people food, clothes, and home. The Inca had gold and silver, but it was for religious use only. So the Incas didn't even have money. They would just work, and then they would get food and clothes from government. Pretty good. And you can see on this map, so this is a map, and this is America. America without the US and without Canada for some reason. So this is from Mexico to Peru. And you can see where the people used to live there before. So some Mayans, some Aztecs, and some Inca people there. Then if you look at 1900, by the 20th century, almost all countries used coins and bills. So 20th century is the 1900 all the way to 2000. 20th century, almost all countries use coins and bills. Then in the middle of the century, people started using credit cards as they were popular because you didn't need to carry a lot of cash with you, right? Because credit cards, super easy, right? You just need to use them, put it in, put it out. So everybody was thinking that's really useful, but also they have some problems, right? Like for example, if you lose it, somebody else maybe can find a way to buy things online with your credit card. So don't lose your credit card. And last one, 2000. Around the turn of the 21st century, consumers in some parts of the world started using their cell phones to pay for services and goods. The first idea was launched in the Philippines in 1999. So maybe your dad or maybe your mom, they can use their phone to pay for things like Apple Pay, or there's Google Pay, or I think there's something called Jeco. You can show your phone. And also Line Pay, you can also use Line to pay things. So this is very cool because you always take your phone, right? And so you are always going to have your money with you. But also, if you lose your phone, then somebody else can take your money. So something's good, something's not so good. Okay, now let's answer the questions from page 72. It says, read the text, match the words with the graphic. So which one is a photo? The photo is the number 2. Number 2 is the photo. It's the photo of the knives that they used to use before. So this one, photo, is number 2. Next one, where's the map? Map is number 4, is the map of America. And the map is used to show you where the things are. Then next one, which one is a timeline? So we talked about this line with all the years. It's called a timeline. So timeline, one word. Next one, which one is a chart? The chart is the number 3, the one with the gold. So that's a chart about gold. And last one is a diagram. So the diagram is number 5, is the last one. A diagram is used to show you information or to show you how something works. So the next one says, write the types of graphics. So number 1, A shows where things are. A map shows you where things are. Number 2, A shows how something works. That's a diagram. It will show you how things work. Number 3, A shows when things happened. Timeline. It's used for time telling, to tell you the time. To show you when things happened. And number 4, shows quantities and percentages. A chart. Chart, like the one number 3, that shows you how much gold is in the earth. And number 5, A is an exact picture of an object. That makes sense. Okay, so number 5 is photo. Like the photos of the knife from China. Okay, so that's it for reading. That's it for your test. Check out your answers. If you have more questions about the text, because it's a very long text, you can also write them down on the comments. And next we're going to do reading, page 80-81. And we're moving on to reading. So for your reading, we're going to read all page 80 and 81. It talk about money, again, all the time talking about money. So we have some new words, and I'm gonna briefly tell you what they are, but you can also listen to the text and read it, and you will find these words, some of these words are there, so you will find out what they mean. So I don't need to tell you too much, because they will tell you in the reading. So a bank account is something where you can put your money in when you go to the bank, and you can also send money or receive. And barter, we talked about this last time on language. Barter is to change things. And cattle means I think it's 3 things. It means cows, bulls, and ox. Cows, bulls, and ox. It's cattle. And coins, and if you don't know what is an ox is like a big cow, but with longer hair. And they are very stinky too. Okay. And then coin, you know what's a coin? Exchange is when I give you something and you give me something else. So we are exchanging things. Or you can also exchange money or whatever. And happiness, when you feel happy. When you come to Teacher Mario class, you feel so happy. Yes. And then provide, this means you give people or you give somebody. So for example, if I say, I provide English class, or I provide knowledge to ESL 3. So that means I make the class for you. Or when maybe your dad can say, your dad provides food for your home. So he goes out and he works, and then he gives you food. So that's what provide is when somebody gives you something that they work, that it was hard for them to make. And then shell, like the shell of a turtle, just anything, or the shell of a what is the name of snails, turtles, that kind of shell. That's the one that we're gonna talk about. So go to page 80 and read along with on page 80 and page 81.
Track 16.
Money, Money, Money by Sterling Montgomery.
Crazy Cash Talk.
There are a lot of expressions about money that don't have the word money in them. Look for the crazy cash talk boxes. Try to memorize some of them to use in a conversation.
Why do we need money, and where does it come from? What would the world be like without money, and do we really need it? Are there alternatives to money? So, what is money? Well, money is something that can be exchanged for goods and services. Goods are objects that you can buy and sell. Toys and clothes are types of goods, for example. Services are the things that people do for people. When you get your hair cut, the person who cuts your hair is providing a service. Look at your teacher. Teaching is a service too. A brief history of money. The money you see today has changed over the years. It sounds very silly, but a long time ago, people used cattle to buy things. Can you imagine using a cow to buy candy from the store? Here's a short history of how money has changed over the years. Barter. Bartering is when people exchange goods. Exchanging a cow for some land is an example of bartering. The practice started thousands of years ago and is still in use today in some cultures. Cattle, 9,000 to 6,000 BCE. Sheep, cows, and camels are the oldest form of money. They were the most common form of currency used in bartering. Shells, 1200 BCE. The cowrie is the longest used currency in history. Cowrie shells were first used in China, although a lot of societies have used them since then. Until the middle of the 20th century, they were still used in parts of the world. Paper money, 2,700 years ago. The first paper money appeared in China. Paper money wasn't common in the rest of the world until the 18th century. Nowadays, we buy things with bank cards or on the internet. This means that no exchange of coins or bills or cows takes place. All you have to do is enter your information and click a button. The first coins, 500 BCE. The earliest coins were made out of bronze and copper. The coins were made in China and looked a little like cowrie shells. In other regions, the earliest coins were made from silver and gold. They were stamped with the heads of gods and emperors and were used in the Greek, Persian, and Roman empires.
Crazy Cash Talk 1. Cost an arm and a leg. To be very expensive. My new video game cost an arm and a leg.
The importance of...
Okay, so that's the end of the reading. So some things we're gonna just talk about a little bit. So let's start from brief history of money. So people ago used cattle to buy things. Can you imagine how you can use a cow to buy cattle? And then it says bartering is when people exchange. When people exchange goods. So barter and exchange are related. They are similar to each other. Okay? And then, about the shells. So the shells that we are talking about here is cowrie shells. Cowrie shells. Cowrie is this animal that you see on this. This is cowrie. There is an animal inside. Not now, or maybe I don't know. So usually there is an animal inside that you can eat, and I think in Taiwan you eat this, right? I think you eat this sometime in like a soup. Yeah. I think yeah. So I don't know what's the name in Chinese. But in English it's called cowrie, and it used to be used for money, or like money, to exchange. Then it's talking about paper money later. So it said paper money first appeared in China. So long time ago, Chinese people already had this very smart idea. And then the first coin, the earliest coin, were made up of bronze and copper because those metals were very soft, so you can shape them like a circle. You can make them round, and the coins were made in China and looked like cowrie shells because they were using cowrie before. And they were stamped with the heads of gods and emperors. And also in Greece, in Persia, and Roman empires. And now, if you look at the coins now, they usually have the heads of presidents or maybe very important people who everybody likes here. So yeah, so being in a coin is actually a very good thing. And then last thing to talk about is this crazy cash talk number 1, the little box on the bottom of page 81. It says, cost an arm and a leg to be, cost an arm and a leg. And it means something is very expensive. So if I tell you, ooh, my new car, it cost me an arm and a leg. Now, it doesn't mean I gave one arm and one leg, right? It just means it cost so much money, it was like I was giving one arm and one leg. So it's just a way of speaking. And we're going to see more things like that about money talk later. But for now, this is it for reading. If you have any questions, again, you can put it in the comments. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to continue with writing, and we're going to do a worksheet too.